glad we won. Obviously did not close the game out as well as you would want to or need to, but thankfully we were able to do enough to get the win, and I think that was really important just for our guys and their own, psyche a little bit. Didn't defend as well as we needed to, but obviously our most complete offensive performance aside from free throw shooting, and we're very fortunate to walk away with a win.
It's been a difference for you guys this month of February.
I think some guys are starting to understand a little more about what it takes to play. I think obviously Deshaun has played better. Clive, Braden, some of our guys off the bench have been more solid. You look at the play of Aaron Tate over the last month. I think that's been instrumental. Guys got to be close to averaging a double-double in the month of February, and and Zay's been more consistent. He's made more winning plays. I talked to again, sometimes, the plays inside the plays that might make a difference, right? If he doesn't try and get that offensive rebound and they call a jump ball, there's 6.2 seconds left instead of 5 seconds left. And maybe Malik Miller makes that shot instead of it being late, right? And so I think, you never know when a play is going to arise that might have an impact on the game that you don't even think it might. And, I think maybe a couple weeks ago, Zay might not have tried to get that offensive rebound. But today he goes in and he gives it an effort and ties the guy up and might be the difference in the game.
How much of that is credit to having the same lineup game after game now, is where at the beginning of the season you're kind of switching up?
Yeah, it's hard because it's like the chicken or the egg, right? You get some consistent performances, so then guys can get consistent minutes and we can have a consistent rotation, or are guys playing more consistent because they're getting consistent minutes. It's hard. We try and evaluate all the time. Obviously we had some shuffling going on. We made some changes by going to the 4 guards. And I think that's been effective for us. The first week we did it, Isaiah was out, with an injury, so then all of a sudden we couldn't really practice it. And I think, guys are starting to get a little more of a feel for, what they need to do on both sides of the ball. But I would definitely say some guys understanding, where their minutes are going to come and how they're going to come has helped. But I also think guys have raised their game in order to deserve those minutes and then play productively when they're in.
Last game at Seawall Center on Saturday. I guess for you, obviously, some really big games here. I guess, what are your thoughts going into the final game there?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. And I don't think I will. I really don't. I think we'll prepare for Sacred Heart. And then maybe sometime in April or May or in June when they start ripping it apart, you'll probably sit there and say to yourself, there have been a lot of great memories in the building, and everybody always points to the games, but for me, some of the workouts, some of the practices we've had, some of the times you spend in there with your guys, at 7 in the morning because you're getting up and it's preseason conditioning, or those are some of the times that I'll think about and miss more than anything. But it's as much as there's some sentimental thought to it, there's also unbelievable excitement about what's gonna eventually be in its place, and hopefully how that will help the program.
Kayvon's career numbers are obviously getting up there. I mean, there's a chance if you guys make a pretty decent run to be one of 3 guys to put up those kind of numbers. For him to just have that consistency through his career, and what's that meant to success here?
He probably would have already had it if he didn't get suspended all the time, but. I'm going to joke about that with him after the season. I mean, hopefully he goes on a run and he gets it, but if he doesn't, that'll be my first thing I say to him. Yeah, I mean, Kay's been a guy who's been a mainstay in our lineup, and I think we kind of go as he goes. And today he made some tough plays down the stretch. He got to the free throw line. I still think he can defend better than he's been, but to be a guy who's closing in on 1,000 points and 500 rebounds, 500 assists is, it means you had a meaningful career, and we're a very, very productive player. And there's been some really good guards here who haven't had numbers like that. So, hopefully he gets to there. But even if he doesn't, I think, he's left his mark on the program and, had a spectacular career.
And those things he does, obviously scoring, assists, and steals really fuel a team. I mean, how much of that is just
Yeah, like I said, when he's engaged and he's playing and he's competing, our team is 2 levels better, and he's a big part of our personality. He's the guy in the locker room who's always kind of setting the tone for how the day's going to go, and that to me is as critical as some of the numbers that he's put up. But when he wants to defend, he can move his feet as well as anybody. He has great anticipation skills. Obviously he's continued to get better as a finisher as his career's gone on. He's always been a guy who's looked to kind of set his teammates up and get assists. From when he first picked up a ball. And so it's been nice to kind of see his maturation as a person and as a player.
Questions for Coach?
One more. Just, you guys played really, really well most of the game, but there was that little 5-minute lapse in there where you guys kind of shut down a little bit and let them come back a little bit. What can you kind of tell them to make sure that they know that other section was really good, but those 5 minutes were pretty crucial to the game?
It's a hard thing to do, and a lot of it comes down to maturity. Where you understand, hey, we have a 10, 12-point lead, and we got to keep playing hard, and maybe even play harder, right? Because what happens is the opposing team who's down 10 or 12, all of a sudden it's like they're playing free and loose, right? They can just put their head down and drive. They can, shoot quick shots. They can. There's no pressure on them anymore, right? And now the pressure comes to you as a team, and you've got to continue to execute on both sides of the ball. And I don't think we did that as well as we've needed to, and we haven't done it at points in time this year. I think it's hopefully a credit that we were able to still hold on, because maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, they steal that win. But it's understanding that you've got to consistently play the right way. You've got to take each possession as important as the previous one, and you can't be playing the scoreboard, right? Obviously, everybody sees that scoreboard, but there's also, people talk about that internal scoreboard where, am I making the right decisions on this play? Am I executing offense properly? Am I, in my right position defensively? Am I rebounding as well as I need to? And those are the things that I think we got to remind guys that they got to keep following our formula, regardless of what it says on the scoreboard.